Elvis? There have been a lot of rumors about your love life. Did you meet anyone special in Germany?
Imagine discovering a basement at Graceland, sealed since Elvis's death, holding his personal journals, unreleased recordings, and a mysterious figure who's been living there for 50 years. Who is this person? And what secrets do they hold that could redefine the king's legacy? This is a story you won't want to miss. Imagine a place where time stands still, where every corner holds a piece of history and every room tells a story. Now picture a door within that place, locked for nearly half a century, its secrets hidden from the world. What could lie behind it? In 2025, that door in Graceland's basement was finally opened, revealing not just relics of Elvis Presley's life, but a mystery that could rewrite the king's legacy. Graceland, nestled in Memphis, Tennessee, has long been a pilgrimage site for millions. Purchased by Elvis in 1957, it was his sanctuary, a haven from the relentless spotlight of fame. After his passing in 1977, the mansion became a museum in 1982, inviting fans to wander through its iconic rooms. The jungle room with its exotic decor, the trophy hall gleaming with gold records. Yet one part of the estate remained shrouded in secrecy, a section of the basement, sealed off and erased from every tour map. For decades, whispers circulated about what might be hidden there, but no one dared to look, until now. The decision to unlock this forbidden floor wasn't made lightly. In early 2025, Graceland officials announced a preservation project described as routine maintenance. Behind the scenes, however, it was anything but ordinary. A hand-picked team of experts, historians, archivists, and security specialists was assembled, each sworn to secrecy under strict agreements. Equipped with advanced scanning tools and archival gear, they prepared to venture into a space untouched since Elvis's final days. What drove this sudden urgency? Rumors had persisted for years about the basement, but recent discoveries hinted at something extraordinary waiting below. As the team descended the narrow staircase, hidden behind a false wall, the air grew heavy with dust and memory. Each step creaked, echoing through the silence as if the house itself were watching. A single bulb swayed from a frayed cord, casting flickering shadows across the walls. The scene before them was like stepping into a time capsule. Furniture draped in white sheets, a vintage turntable holding a warped record, and a pair of Elvis's iconic sunglasses resting on a velvet cushion, untouched for decades. The weight of history pressed against them, but something else lingered, a sense that they weren't alone. Then they saw it. A heavy wooden door, slightly ajar, its hinges rusted but intact. A faint rustling sound came from within, barely audible but enough to send a chill through the team. Could it be the wind, or was something, or someone, moving behind that door? With bated breath, they pushed it open, stepping into a room that defied belief. It was the legendary TV room, a space long whispered about but never seen by the public. 3 vintage television sets stood side by side, their screens dark but intact, just as Elvis had arranged them to watch multiple channels at once, a habit inspired by President Lyndon Johnson, as noted in Architectural Digest. The walls bore the bold lightning bolt of his TCB logo, a symbol of taking care of business in a flash. But the room held more than nostalgia. On a low table, a leather-bound journal lay open, its pages filled with Elvis's handwriting. The notes were raw, intimate, snippets of lyrics, personal reflections, and cryptic phrases like, "The stage calls, but the silence is louder." Another page sketched the beginnings of a song, "In the quiet of the night, my heart sings alone." Beside the journal was a box of reel-to-reel tapes, labeled with titles like Midnight Serenade and Heartache Blues. These were unreleased recordings, songs Elvis had crafted in secret, perhaps never meant for the world to hear. Recent reports, like those from Variety, confirmed that unreleased Elvis tracks continue to surface, fueling speculation about his untapped creative legacy. As the team cataloged these treasures, they noticed something unsettling. A half-empty glass of water sat on a side table, its surface still rippling. A newspaper dated just days earlier lay crumpled nearby. Footprints in the dust to a curtained corner where a small living space emerged. A bed with rumpled sheets, a wardrobe of vintage clothes, and a radio softly playing Can't Help Falling in Love. Someone had been living here, hidden beneath Graceland's polished facade. The team's flashlights converged on the curtain, their pulses racing. Who could survive in such secrecy? And what did they know about Elvis? From the shadows, a figure stepped forward, their face weathered but eerily familiar. The team froze, recognizing someone tied to Elvis's inner circle. Someone the world believed had left Graceland long ago. Their presence raised 1,000 questions. Why had they stayed? What were they protecting? The air crackled with unspoken truths, and the team realized they'd uncovered more than artifacts. They'd stumbled into a living mystery. They stepped into a room that felt like a whisper from the past, a space so perfectly preserved it was as if Elvis had just left moments ago. The TV room was a bold testament to the king's personality. Walls painted in striking black and yellow, a mirrored ceiling reflecting the shag carpet below, and stretching across the far wall, a vivid lightning bolt, the symbol of his famous motto, "Taking care of business in a flash." It was more than decor, it was Elvis himself, frozen in time. Old magazines sat stacked on a side table, their pages yellowed with age, while empty soda bottles gathered dust beside an ashtray. A pair of loafers rested near the couch, still holding the shape of his feet, as if waiting for him to slip them on and settle in for the evening news. There were no cryptic clues or hidden messages, just the quiet, haunting absence of a man who once filled this space with life. But as the team marveled at these relics, a sound broke the silence. A sound that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't the groan of an old house settling or the drip of aging pipes. It was slow, rhythmic, deliberate. Footsteps, coming from beyond the far wall where the pool room lay, waiting. The crew exchanged glances, their pulses quickening. They weren't alone. The pool room was unlike anything else in Graceland, a masterpiece of design that felt more like a dream than reality. Every inch of the walls and ceiling was draped in pleated fabric, cascading in waves of blue, gold, and burnt orange, creating an otherworldly cocoon that seemed to pulse with color. It was Elvis's private escape, a place where he could shoot pool with friends or simply disappear from the world's gaze. When the team entered, time didn't feel like it had passed, it felt paused. The pool table stood exactly as it always had. It felt pristine, the balls racked as if a game had ended mid-shot. Custom lights, now flickering back to life with restored power, cast a warm amber glow across the room. Leather chairs, cue racks, and even unopened cigarette packs sat untouched like sacred artifacts in a forgotten temple. But something was wrong. The silence here wasn't just quiet, it was the kind of silence that pressed against your skin, as if the room itself was holding its breath. There were no footprints in the dust, no signs of disturbance, yet the basement's advanced security sensors, installed years ago and monitored routinely, hadn't been triggered. It didn't make sense. Graceland was a fortress, its every corner watched, yet this room felt alive, as if it had been waiting for them. The team's whispers grew hushed, their eyes scanning the shadows. Was this space truly abandoned for nearly 5 decades, or had something or someone been keeping watch all along? Elvis Presley was a man who cherished his solitude, often retreating to the quiet corners of Graceland to escape the relentless spotlight. According to records from the mansion's own archives, he designed these spaces as sanctuaries, places where he could be himself, away from the world's expectations. But as the team stood in the pool room, they couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just a sanctuary, it was a secret. And secrets, especially those buried for so long, have a way of coming to light. Then it happened. A movement, quick and silent, caught the corner of a technician's eye. It wasn't a ghost or a trick of the light, it was real. Behind a sagging curtain and a warped panel of decorative molding, they found it. A narrow passage, its ceiling low, leading into darkness. This wasn't on any map, not in the tour guides, not in the estate's floor plans, not even in the internal schematics used by maintenance crews. Even the veterans of Graceland, those who had tended to its every detail for decades, stood in disbelief. This was new to them, a hidden vein in the heart of the mansion, unknown and uncharted. The narrow passage stretched into darkness, its walls closing in as the team pressed forward, their flashlights flickering like candles in a storm. At its end, they found a chamber sealed by time, its door cloaked in dust and silence. With a collective breath, they pried it open, stepping into a space that felt like a heartbeat from Elvis Presley's past. Inside, wooden crates stood like sentinels, their brittle tape and faded 1970s inventory codes guarding secrets long thought lost. What they uncovered wasn't just history, it was the soul of a legend, hidden for nearly half a century. Could these relics rewrite the king's story? The crates revealed treasures that whispered of Elvis's life. Dog-eared books, neatly folded shirts, and cocktail napkins scrawled with his hurried thoughts. A box of 8mm home movies promised intimate glimpses of family moments, while a stack of reel-to-reel tapes, each hand-labeled with dates, some from mere weeks before August 1977, stood as silent witnesses to his final days. These weren't the polished recordings of a superstar. They were raw, unfiltered, perhaps the most personal words Elvis ever spoke. The team stood in awe, their pulses racing. What truth did these tapes hold, locked away in this forgotten vault? Security swarmed the chamber, historians and archivists arriving under strict orders of secrecy. Phones were silenced, the room barricaded from the outside world. When they played the first tape, Elvis's voice emerged. Not the commanding croon of the stage, but a quiet, weary murmur. "The world sees the king," he said, "but down here, I'm just a man, searching for peace." The words hung heavy, a window into a soul burdened by fame. Was this a confession? A farewell? Or simply a moment of raw honesty? The team exchanged glances, the weight of his vulnerability sinking in. What was Elvis trying to tell us, hidden beneath his own home? As archivists sifted through the chamber's contents, a clearer picture emerged of what this space meant to Elvis. Graceland's records reveal he spent countless hours in the basement during his later years, not just to unwind, but to retreat from the relentless spotlight. This wasn't a mere lounge or game room, it was his sanctuary, a place where he could shed the weight of his public persona. Vinyl records, personal notes, and vintage audio equipment were meticulously arranged, as if Elvis himself had preserved them for eternity. Locked cases held handwritten journals filled with poetry and reflections, unopened letters, and more tapes, some dated just before his passing. Scholars believe these were never meant for the world's ears, private musings of a man who distrusted the press and even parts of his inner circle. What secrets did he guard in this hidden refuge? The discovery sent shockwaves beyond Graceland's gates. Whispers first circulated among collectors and historians, but soon the story exploded into the public sphere. Graceland officials issued a cautious statement, confirming that a sealed basement section had been opened for preservation, yielding vintage electronics, decor, and personal items that might one day feature in new exhibits. Yet, when pressed about the journals, letters, or those haunting tapes, they offered only silence. That silence sparked a firestorm of speculation. Were these recordings a final message crafted for a future generation? Or were they the private thoughts of a man who never expected them to be found? The world leaned in, hungry for answers. The tapes in particular became the heart of the mystery. A crew member speaking anonymously described their contents as hauntingly personal. Not performances, but introspections, as if Elvis were speaking to himself, or to someone he trusted implicitly. Recent discoveries like the 1956 footage of Elvis recording a new ending for Love Me Tender in New York, reported by Fox 5 New York invalid URL do not cite, underscore how much of his life remains unexplored. These basement tapes could hold similar revelations, offering a raw glimpse into his final years. But what will we be allowed to hear? Graceland has resealed the chamber with only a select few permitted inside as the cataloging process begins. The wait for answers may stretch years, but the anticipation only grows. Elvis Presley was more than a singer. He was a cultural titan, a man whose charisma and talent reshaped music and fame. His lifestyle reflected his legend, marked by extravagance and heart. His car collection was iconic, including a 1955 pink Cadillac gifted to his mother, a 1971 Stutz Blackhawk, and a gold-plated Mercedes-Benz 600, each a symbol of his larger-than-life persona, GQ. He wore diamond-encrusted watches like the Rolex Day-Date and custom TCB rings that defined his style. Graceland, his 13.8-acre Memphis estate, was his sanctuary, joined by homes in Palm Springs and Los Angeles, including a $9.3 million honeymoon retreat, financed monthly. His private jets, like the Lisa Marie with its gold-flecked interiors, epitomized his love for luxury travel. Elvis's business ventures were pioneering. His 31 films and merchandising empire set the standard for celebrity branding, Rolling Stone. Yet his generosity often outpaced his wealth, gifting cars and homes to fans and friends. His estate, valued at $5 million at his death, faced financial strain, teaching us the value of strategic planning and trusted advisors, Forbes. These basement discoveries don't just add to Elvis's legacy, they redefine it. They reveal a man wrestling with his own myth, pouring his heart into tapes and journals that might never have seen light. From the rebellious heartthrob of the 1950s to the introspective figure of the 1970s, Elvis's journey was one of triumph and struggle, his influence enduring through Graceland's 650,000 annual visitors and ongoing projects like Elvis Presley Enterprises, Wikipedia. As we await the next revelation, one question lingers. What final truths did Elvis leave behind, waiting in the shadows of Graceland? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more as we unravel the king's enduring enigma. His voice still echoes, calling us to listen. As we step out of Graceland's hidden basement, the echoes of Elvis Presley's voice linger, raw and unfiltered, pulling us closer to a man we thought we knew. This journey through sealed chambers, dusty crates, and cryptic tapes has revealed more than artifacts. It's unveiled the heart of a legend, a man who dazzled the world yet sought refuge in the shadows of his own home. From the TV room's bold lightning bolt to the pool room's dreamlike fabric, every corner of this forgotten space tells a story of solitude, creativity, and secrets. Those handwritten journals filled with poetry and musings and the reel-to-reel tapes, whispering truths from 1977, show us an Elvis who was more than the king. A man wrestling with fame, searching for peace and leaving pieces of himself for us to find. The mysterious figure living among these relics only deepens the enigma, raising questions we may never fully answer. What did Elvis want us to know? What was he hiding in the heart of Graceland? This discovery, blending fact with the allure of mystery, reminds us why Elvis remains timeless. His music, his charisma, his larger-than-life presence still captivate millions, drawing 650,000 visitors to Graceland each year, as noted on their official site. His financial legacy, marked by iconic cars like the pink Cadillac, sprawling estates, and pioneering business ventures, teaches us the power of vision tempered by careful planning. Yet, it's the personal side glimpsed in those basement tapes that hits hardest. Elvis was a paradox, a global icon who craved quiet, a performer whose private struggles shaped his art. As archivists catalog these findings, the world waits, breathless, for what might come next. Will we hear more of his voice? Will those letters reveal new truths? The story of Elvis Presley is far from over. If this journey into Graceland's secrets moved you, drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Elvis was trying to tell us? Give this video a thumbs up if you felt the king's presence in these revelations, and hit that subscribe button to join us for more stories that uncover the hidden layers of legends. Up next, we're diving into another iconic figure's untold story, exploring mysteries that have stayed buried for decades. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. From the rebellious spark of the 1950s to the quiet reflections of his final days, Elvis taught us that even the brightest stars cast long shadows. His voice, once confined to a basement, now echoes across time, reminding us that some legends never fade. They just wait to be rediscovered.